to the Pelicans post-game report on the PPR Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. What's going on, family? Welcome into the Pelican post-game report. That's right, with Chum coming at you. Another installment of the Pelican post-game report. We in the building. I'm Big Q, your host. We got my co-host chiming in, the Pelican post-game report. DC, how you doing, my friend?
Yo, what's up, Big Q?
I'm doing good, my friend. Everything is fine, bro. How you making out on your end? How was everything with the storm, brother?
Everything was cool, man. Ain't much of nothing over here. It just looked a little ugly in the clouds. We blessed, man. The storm went right to the left of us, man. It's insignificant what all those other people are dealing with. All my blessings go out to them.
Yeah, same here, my friend. Same here with me and the rest of the family. We went out, we had some rain, but pretty much we were fortunate as so many rest of the family were as well. Big ups to Tragic. Says, am I really live? He said, yeah, we live, family. Tragic 504. Good to see you in the chat as well. But in this episode of it's time for the Pelican Post Game Report, family, and this one's called Who's the Coach? And Pelicans coaching choices and more. We're going to cover that today on the show. Of course, next week we'll have a show where we kind of break down more in depth and look at, maybe the free agents, and then we'll do a draft show as well coming up. So, DC, the NBA season, man, after the playoffs finally kick up and start again and start moving, after it's over with, there's a brief break and then the season fires up again, man. So what do you think about that quick transition, man, before we get going?
The transition far as the
season's ending and starting again. Right.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's everybody's getting a little bit of dose of Team USA type play. That's how I see it, because you're going to end your season and it's going to be a quick turnaround. But players that such as the upper echelon that go to the Olympics, they do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it'll be a big deal for people who are already professionals and who are already working on being great. But a lot of those bottom tier players might get some injuries and see some effects from that. Not because they don't want to be good, but maybe they don't have the resources to be able to take care of their body to handle that type of load. So I think we might see a little more injuries with that quick turnaround.
We covered on the show on the TSC Unleashed this morning the fact that with the playoffs being paused because of the things going on in the rest of the nation, the NBA and the NBA Players Association came together this morning and decided on several really interesting bullet points to start play again. What are your thoughts on that, man? We talked about that earlier, but I wanted to get your thoughts. What you thought about the players using their power to kind of shut the season down temporarily. And then, of course, after that, they were able to get some initiative. I don't know totally if those are their initiatives because it sounds so much like initiatives that I heard other people use, and they're good at kind of putting, their words in your mouth. What do you think about that?
I think it's, excuse my points on it, people might not like them, but it seems a little bit like the blind leading the blind. It doesn't really seem as organized as we're supposed to believe it is. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. Not the fact that they want to do something. I'm all for that. I support that. I think that's a great idea. And for a minute, it looked powerful to me. I was like, wow, maybe things are changing a little bit. And then I hear the next day, the season's starting again. It would have been way more powerful to me. And I know that ain't to our advantage because we wouldn't have had a lot to talk about. But it would have been way more powerful to me if they really stopped the season and demanded something and wouldn't play until that, or just stop the whole thing. But to go a couple of days and miss a few games, I'm like, what's that really doing? Pick a direction and stand for something and stand on it. You know what I'm saying? But I do got to respect them for putting their foot forward and at least doing something. Because a lot of times when things like this happen, people wouldn't bring any attention to it, wouldn't do anything. So it's a step in the right direction. It just seems not completely wholeheartedly thought out and went all the way through with it. So I think should have had a little bit better, guess, long-term plan idea of what they're going to do. And I'm hearing some players are even mad at LeBron James because they said they're going to stop the season and now we starting again. Like, what the hell was that? Almost like a publicity stunt in people's minds from his point of view.
Yeah, that was interesting. Did you get it? Did you watch it? Any of that interview today? Did you get a chance to kind of scope a little bit of that interview? What I've seen some of it on ESPN. What Stephen A. Smith was saying about LeBron created a rift with the younger players because of the way he was putting himself out front and positioning himself as like the big man, and everybody else was underneath him. Did you catch wind of that?
No, but if you follow the NBA, LeBron's been doing this for years, man. We always hear about his teammates and how people always say they don't get credit. Well, guess what? LeBron never corrects anybody and says, oh, I couldn't have done it without such and such and woo, woo, woo. He just sits there and takes all the credit. So, like, he's doing what he always do to me.
Well, let me throw this little caveat in at you, DC, if you ain't already know. LeBron James, Chris Paul, and they were counseled and had advice from former President Barack Obama during the stalemate. How does that change your opinion? Or does it?
During the what?
During the stalemate, when they had the stoppage. This is being reported by ESPN that LeBron, Chris Paul received advice from former President Barack Obama during the stalemate.
Well, I mean, we know what his advice was. That's why they went back and started playing. Obama liked basketball like the rest of us.
All right, so let's move into, because I know I had a clip. I'm gonna probably tune it up a little later on about what I heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say about LeBron James and how the younger players were upset with him because of how he positioned himself over them and pretty much has a mindset pretty much of the fact that he seen himself as above the rest of the players, and that's something that we all know all too well. How a pompous guy like LeBron, we've been knowing about him for some time. Finally see somebody finally seeing this guy, man, for what he is. But keep going. But yeah, let's move on, man. Let's get this the Pelican post game report, not the LeBron post game report. So let's keep it going here. Next thing we're gonna move into this.
We can't turn into the new ESPN and just talk about LeBron all day.
Nah, I don't got time to lose my hair and start wearing glasses and start looking like George Jefferson around the son of a gun. I tell you what, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, let's keep it.
Kendrick Perkins still got his hair, and he managed to talk about LeBron every chance he gets. Shannon Sharp too.
Yeah, I remember a guy put a highlight reel of Kendrick Perkins plays with him throwing the ball out of bounds and missing dunks. Boy, it was some of the most fun. I was like, what did Kendrick Perkins actually really do? But to ride everybody coattail, but all of a sudden he's some type of their whole little staff is funny to me.
He was the enforcer, man. He was the body and the enforcer, the hard foul guy.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, the less talented goon. I got you. Let's move on. Let's go on with the Pelican talk, man. That was real entertaining. Okay, let's talk this, man. We have several different stories and lines out there, DC, pretty much linking. Several openings have occurred so far since the NBA playoffs have started. You hear the Pelicans fired their coach, so did Indiana. So did Philadelphia, and so did Sacramento. So all these teams are in the market.
It's crazy, bro.
Man, they fired everybody. Everybody fired. You don't make the playoffs no matter how many games. Right. It don't matter how many games your ass made. You could have won 43, 45, 46. You fired. It don't make a difference. But I guarantee you ask any one of them, DC, they're not confused about why they got fired.
The coaching search, it's gonna look like a draft for old men. That's what it's turning into, man. We're gonna have like 10 teams trying to get coaches, man. It's gonna be crazy. Houston might fire their coach,
That is possible.
And somebody else in the bubble. Jack Vaughn might not come back for Brooklyn. The Milwaukee coach could get fired. Or Giannis could leave. It's kind of crazy, man. I think this is probably the biggest turnover we've seen, like, especially for coaches in a long time.
Yeah, it's something else, man, to see the turnover. And according to various reports, they have a lot of people now going after Mozzie's favorite choice, which is Tyrone Liu. Philadelphia looks in
Oh,
line.
come on, Mozzie.
Tyrone Liu, I was like, please no. But being that his
Come on,
relationship
Mozzie, no.
with David Griffin is what a lot of people's looking at. Okay, Griffin is familiar with this guy,
Well, he got a
worked with him in
championship ring
Cleveland.
too.
Right. So they're thinking maybe they can have him. But Philadelphia is a team that's looking at him as a number one contender to land there. Not so much. Not too much a conversation around Mark Jackson, but the fact that the reports are mentioning Tyrone Liu is one of the people that the team came in contact with possibly talking about. They're saying, according to several other reports, they mentioned that Tyrone Liu is a suitor for the Sixers. Also, Jason Kidd as a possible replacement that they're linking him to. Of course, a lot of these coaches can't be interviewed until after the playoffs is over, which Griffin basically, and we're saying Griffin because we don't have a general manager. But we do have David Griffin here, and he's saying that he's looking at guys like they're looking at several people. They won't tell you who they are, but the rumors are saying Tyrone Liu. They're saying some of them are saying Mark Jackson. Some of them saying other interesting names too that you might not know: Jerry Stackhouse, Sam Cassell, and stuff like that. What do you think about some of those names that you're hearing? I know you've been paying attention to it. Yumi Adoka is another guy they're talking about. So it's like the upper echelon coaches, which are the Jason Kidds and such in that variety. Then it's the second layer guys like Stackhouse who have potential. Sam Cassell, who was with Doc Rivers for the last decade, who was a really good floor general, who's looking for the right opportunity. Then there's mention of Becky Hammonds, a lot of people in between like Dave Yeager, Atkinson, and the rest of those guys. What your thoughts are?
Am I wrong? Because I noticed you mentioned Becky Hammond. I don't think we ever mentioned her. Am I wrong to think that a woman can't coach grown men and lead a team? I think she'd be an assistant, but to lead a team, you think that'll work?
I think she does have the command to lead the team. Yes, I do. Because it will take a certain amount of force to get it to happen, being that you're directing men. So you would have to be like that. And I think that Becky Hammonds does have that. She knows what she's talking about, bro. She know the game of ball.
Okay.
She really smart. She really intelligent. And yes, she does have a command about herself, where grown men will listen to her, in my opinion. Also, okay. Nate McMillan's out there too, DC. That's another name that's being thrown around.
That's one of my guys, man. I like Nate McMillan. Of course, I mean, they went out in the first round in Indiana. Every year, you can't keep doing that.
Man, we'll give you a 2-year extension for that.
I think it was 2 years. I thought it was a little longer than that.
Oh, well, I mean, on the back of a losing season, I mean, we gave you 2 years.
He did the same thing with the Blazers too. So, and then his age, it's like but I like how his team plays though, man. He does great for the point guards too. I don't think I ever seen him with a player in the front court like Zion or even a guy such as Brandon Ingram. I don't think he ever had a talent like that, like them two. But Jerry Stackhouse, man, that's the guy you brought up to me, and looking into him, man.
David Fitzdale's another.
I didn't realize how good he could be too. Fizz definitely. Sam Cassell, man. Remember I was talking to you about Sam Cassell earlier, man. Championship experience, bro. And we all know, if you're a 90s baby, you remember Sam Cassell. We used to talk trash about him, like, man, he ugly as hell. Who is this ugly dude, man? And then you see him play. And you shut the hell up. You're like, man, he can ball. He done it multiple times, multiple teams, man. I remember he had that whole regime with the Timberwolves, had me thinking the Timberwolves were going to get a championship with him and Garnett over there, man.
Yep, pretty well.
Yeah, Sam Cassell was an extremely intelligent point guard, wasn't fast, wasn't athletic, so you knew he knew the game. And I think those type of guys make excellent coaches. We got so many guys to choose from, Big Q. How do we pick the right one? That's the one. Who wins us a championship?
I mean, you got to go where, you know, the more. And let me throw this in there too. Mentally, and he can verbalize the game. He could communicate the game in ways if you listen to his telecast and you listen to Mark Jackson break the game down, he breaks it down so simple to make people who are novice that don't even understand the nuances and the schematics of basketball understand it and feel comfortable with it. So I think communication is a big part, and the respect factor. Plus look what he did with the Golden State Warriors. You talk about what he's done in the coaching ranks. At the onset of the Golden State Warriors dynasty, Mark Jackson was there. He laid the foundation for them to become a dynasty. He taught Steph Curry how to play the point guard position in the pros, and he helped a lot of those young guys in the years that he was there. He fell out with ownership over something that was dealing with. They would try to force somebody on the staff, and most coaches don't like that. They don't trust guys you forcing on their staff because they see those guys as possible spies. And then the coach reserves the right to pick whoever he wants on his staff or refuse whoever he wants on his staff. And I think that's what it was. They try to force one of the twins onto the staff, and he didn't want that. Regardless of whatever the case may have been, he had that prerogative. So they ended up getting rid of him. He went back to the booth. I think Jackson would be a good fit for the team because we need an experienced coach who could take command of the team, that knows the schematics of both offense and defense. And I think he is a disciplinarian guy, and he'll get them together. The second coach on my list, to be honest, which is not a big name coach, but I do like this guy a lot, and I'm going to put him up there and call him like it is, David Fitzdale. I think despite he spent time in Miami, he learned the system, the game. And when he took the job in Memphis, he went down there and he did some good things as well. With Memphis, ultimately, we built him up. I love his intelligence. Dave Fitzdale's a really smart dude. He's intelligent. He's young enough to relate to the younger people as well on the team. He teaches defense first, offensive principles like defense, offense off of defense, ball control, playing discipline, and having an attitude when you play ball. That fits the current Pelicans model, how they presently constructed so well. Because the truth be told, we have a lot of gifted offensive players that can score with blindfolds on. The defense is the problem with the Pelicans. And I think Dave Fitzdale will create that grind. Imagine the Pelicans, the Memphis grind coming to the New Orleans and become the New Orleans grind. Imagine that Memphis style as the Pelicans are playing. Could you imagine that? That would be so terrific, mixing it with that offensive gift, that speciality that the team has. So Fitzdale will be one of my second dudes, and I think that you can be able to get him for a cheaper rate than you would do a Mark Jackson. But Fitzdale is that guy. And, of course, the third guy on my list is a combination of a few guys. And I think Jerry Stackhouse is an interesting pick, and I do like Kenny Atkinson, both of those guys. With Stackhouse he's a guy that relate to the players currently. He's really talented, and he's a guy that's coming up on the scene. He was head coaching out there with the G League Toronto squad and having great success up there with them. Plus, he knows the pro game as a player, and he's respected as a coach. So Stackhouse is another dude, can communicate the game well, young enough, really young in terms of close enough to the youthfulness of the team, could teach those nuances. I love what Stack brings to the game. He brings that flavor to the Pelicans. I would like that. And, of course, Kenny Atkinson, who did a stint with Brooklyn, had some success up there before things fell out with him and the leadership up there. But Atkinson's another disciplinarian-type coach, a schematic-type mindset person, discipline, knows how to translate the game too. And I think that if you can work with a guy like Kenny Atkinson, you can get development. He can develop into one of the lesser-known coaches like Quinn Snyder or Brendan Malone up there in Denver. Some of these coaches right here that nobody really talks about, guys that are in the league, that's been coaching in the league for years. They just haven't gotten to that peak yet. Like, it took Rick Carlisle a while before he finally got that recognition and got that championship, So you got to look at guys like him and Dwayne Casey's, those guys, those type, it's that peer group. We think about the Popoviches and stuff like that, but they have those David, they have those Eric Spoelstras and those guys on next level. Then under them, the Brendan Malones and the Quinn Snyders and the Terry Stotts and people like those guys keep a job in the NBA because they have a certain level of success. So those are my guys. DC, please feel free to elaborate who you have.
Yeah, this is an interesting collection of guys you got there, man. And just
very diverse.
Go ahead and segue into it, man. How you was talking at the end about those coaches and the tiers. I mean, people forget Greg Popovich, in 1999, they wasn't doing too good at one point. He was on the hot seat, and they turned that around, wound up winning a championship, and look at what he is today. So for some of your guys, I definitely agree with. I have to say Mark Jackson, number one. I'm not going to go into it. You've done an excellent layout of talking about Mark and describing his accomplishments, and I agree wholeheartedly. But I will say I think he brings structure and discipline, and that is what I'm going with my tiers of coaches. I want guys that I feel can bring that and kind of coach hard, and I want them to be older but not too old. I don't want nobody in their 60s. I really like Lionel Hollins, who's an assistant over there with the Lakers, but I'm not gonna put him in my top three because of that. But Mark Jackson, man, I think he brings that. I don't know how many guys on our teams are Christians, but I know he's gonna be bringing that faith with him. He had mandatory Bible studies and things like that. I think people should have the freedom to be able to choose what they want religiously, but I do like the idea of having a structure and something mandatory, especially for young guys. I think that would build character, just having that structure, even though, so I'm sure some people wouldn't like something like that. But all the other aspects of his coaching were great, man. He was a balanced coach, and that's what we need. So Mark Jackson would be number one. My number two guy came up, and I'm looking at it, and I think he'd be one of those guys that be like middle tier, good to fall back on. At least you know you're going to get some production. Would be Nate McMillan, man. His son has already been over there with us. That could be a hell of a combination. I think he's a guy, the right situation, and with the right players, he can definitely take him to the next level, man. He does excellent work with his guards everywhere he's been. They had great guard play, including himself being in the NBA and doing his thing, man. Two-time defensive player teams. Well, he's been on that twice. He's from North Carolina, so I think that would really be kind of close to our core guys, and he probably got that type of spirit. I know what guys are like from there. You got Zion Williamson, who's from South Carolina, and Brandon Ingram. North Carolina ain't that far away. So you got that going for you. And you have the fact that, I mean, he ain't won no championships, but Nate McMillan is a winning coach, man. I mean, he got 1,200 something wins, 600 something losses. So he's over 500. This is an upgrade from Alvin Gentry. You know what I'm saying? A huge upgrade. But he is 56. We see Portland. Portland definitely did get a little better after him. But he did have a little era where Portland was doing their thing, man, with Nate McMillan. You know, he had him with 54 wins. Yeah, I remember that season they had, you know. So he's one of those people, he could fill in, he could overachieve, or he could just kind of be what he was for Indiana. His floor is you make it to the playoffs and get kicked out in the first round, which for such a young team, I don't think that's that bad. If you give him like a 2 or 3 year contract and he just never gets him over the hump, boom, you just move on 2 years into that. So Nate McMillan would be my number 2 guy. Now my number 3 guy, was the guy that I could oppose and put alongside Jerry Stackhouse. I like Sam Cassell, as you heard me talking about him earlier, and the abilities that he brings to a team to me would be mental toughness. He brings basketball IQ, hell of a job with player development. All those guys with the Clippers over there talk about Sam Cassell. And if you notice, all the guards on the Clippers bring something to the table, man. Patrick Beverly ain't no scorer, but he gonna D you up. Not giving Sam Cassell the credit for Pat Beverly, but I'm just saying that I'm sure he's helping keep those skills sharp. We got Landry Shaman over there, who I can give Sam Cassell credit for because he was drafted there. And he's a sharpshooter with defense. You don't normally see that. You don't normally see that. And I think Sam Cassell is a big part of that. Not only that, he was with Doc Rivers for 10-something years, man. He's been sitting under that great coach. It can't help but to rub off on you. He was already an intelligent basketball mind. He has the toughness. He's clutch as far as him being a basketball player. And I think those characteristics and that toughness and that edge that we know Sam Cassell had could do wonders for whoever your point guard is, preferably Lonzo Ball. I think we should keep him. But even if he's not there, whoever you put at point guard, Sam Cassell would be a tremendous upgrade to help mold their game. And then on the other side of that, he was a floor general, so you know he can run a team. Your floor general is basically a coach on the floor. You are an extension of the coach. So I don't think it's hard for him to do all the ins and outs and managing personalities. I think he's been picking that up the whole time from Doc Rivers. I mean, he did win a championship on that staff. Y'all see what the Clippers is doing, and Sam Cassell is definitely a big part of that. So that would be my three. Big Q. It'd be Mark Jackson, Nate McMillan, and Sam Cassell.
Yeah, I got to give you that, DC. I like those, man, and to be honest with you, I think a lot of the Pelican Nation would be too. And we got a break coming up, a commercial break coming up real soon. But before we go into the break, I'm going to answer some questions from the chat. Thank all the family members for joining us in the chat. All the Pelican family members. Down the Woods, Tragic 504, a Supreme Josh, good to see you. Unique View, big ups to you, and DJ, big ups to you as well. Unique View says are asking the question. Is Lonzo staying or leaving? New York wants him. Half the league wants him. That's one question as well, and we'll get to the other question. Unique View is positive. Is in comments is saying it. So what's your thought process on Lonzo Ball? I say he's staying, man. I don't think he goes anywhere.
Unique. I think he's staying. The other day they just posted up a bunch of pictures on the Pelicans website of Lonzo Ball. Now you can look at that one or two ways. You could say, well, they're trying to show him some love, calm his nerves, let him know we still got love for him. Or are they showing him and they're about to start the hype train so they could up his trade value? But me personally, I think Lonzo stays. Zion loves him, and they have a connection, man, on the court. I don't know what it is off the court, but that could be something real special. And I don't think you give up on that just because of 8 bad games in a bubble. Before that, he did all type of stuff. I didn't see him mentally check out, this check out word everybody's going with. Play great during the end of the season before they closed it down. Even was clutching games and helped us to win. So I think he has it in him.
Yeah, me too. I have to agree with that. I think Lonzo Ball stays, man. The Pelicans, I mean, he still has that contract left. He has a year left on his contract. Plus the preceding year, DC, he doesn't have a restricted or a player option, something like that. There's something on there. There's 2 years left on it, isn't it? I got it in front of me here. Look, we don't even have to look at it. I got it in front of me right here. Hold on here. Let me pull it up here. Because we're looking at, matter of fact, let's take a look at that right quick. I was gonna hold it for the break, but the break will be here soon. So we're looking at some of the guys, and you're looking at restricted guys. Lonzo Ball is here. Josh Hart, all these guys under contract, but you're looking at guys. Hold on here. Well, this is outdated right here. This is not the right one. But let me see here. But yeah, I see what the information I have on Zobal is. 8.7 mil, DC. 8.7 mil is what he currently his cap figure is, and is still a part of the rookie deal. We know that Ingram has the restricted contract, and the fact that a lot of the Pelicans players are restricted except for the unrestricted guys, our centers, which are Derrick Favors and Jahlil Okafor. But that's another question is when we talk in Pelicans, there's always the talk that comes up. Yeah, this of course 8.7 this year is what he's making. Next year, Zobal's money goes up to $11 million, and then in the 21-22 year, he is a cap hit with a 14.3. So yeah, he got 2 more years, and then
he got 2 years.
Yeah, he got 2 years. Yeah, and then after that, it goes into a restricted status. So yeah, he got 2 years with the second year it's restricted. So yeah, you got 2 more years or so at $11 million next year coming up. So we're about to hit our break. When we come back, we'll discuss those numbers. We'll go over the roster. We'll give our thoughts on other players like Drew Holiday. We'll also speak about the draft as well. We'll touch a little upon that on the next side of the break. We'll answer more questions as well. You're listening to the Pelican Post-Game Report. Stick with us.
Remington Tax Solutions is a company that, together with their partners, provide virtual tax consultation and preparation for individuals, small business, and nonprofit. They also provide notary and a host of other business-related services for their clients. Their associates provide a systematic yet very client-centered approach to their services. They offer the industry knowledge and insight to help solve your most complex tax issues. At Remington, their currency is time, the one resource that cannot be replenished. For that reason, they utilize the simplest and most effective forms of technology to make their services faster and more efficient. No need to wait in the office until your taxes are completed. Simply upload your documents via the Taxes to Go app or via their client portal, and they'll take care of the rest. Remington Tax Solutions is a member of the National Association of Tax Professionals and participates in the IRS Annual Filing Season Program, which is a voluntary tax education program to stay abreast of the ongoing changes in tax legislation. Remington Tax Solutions has a strong connection to the communities in which they serve. It is a part of their mission to make a positive impact on the lives of their neighbors. So, if you're looking for a reliable, effective, and trustworthy tax preparation service, Remington Tax Solutions is the business for you. Contact Remington Tax Services at their number 682-307-4410 or simply go to remingtontax.com. That's remingtontax.com. Remington Tax Service, virtual tax preparation for the individual and small business.
Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to embracepetiinsurance.com. That's embracepetiinsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelican.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAstore.com has all the gear.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. We talking Pelicans, man, on the first side of the segment, man. We covered who we think the Pelicans should get, and there's quite a few. And even though we made mentions against the guys like Mark Jackson, Tyrone Liu, you talk about Becky Hammond, Emi Udoka, Jaeger, Nate Mcmillan, Sam Cassell, Stackhouse. There's so many candidates, and I think it's a supreme and excellent time. If you're looking for a coach, you have your complete feel of whatever you want. If you want an experienced coach like Mark Jackson, he's there. If you want a middling of the pack type of coach like Nate McMillan, he's there. If you're looking for a coach to kind of break out and hopefully you think he can reach where where a guy like Snyder is out there, Quinn Snyder is in Utah, or Malone in Denver, guys like that, they're out there with David Fitzdale and the likes. And then you have the upcoming coaches like Cassell and Stackhouse. It's so much. Whatever you have a hankering for, it's available this year in the free agency market as far as the coaches are concerned. And it'll be fun watching them. And, of course, it's been reported two really interesting facts about the coaching search is the fact that the Pelicans are not willing to spend over $5 million a year for their coach. That's number one. And, of course, David Griffin, who was really the general manager of the team, decided to ultimately say that he wants to go in favor of, taking his time. So you have a coach that intends that wants to take his time to make his mind up. So that's fine, man. And please take your time. Whatever you do, do not bring another Elvin Gentry up on this goddamn team. You'll never hear the end of it from me, man. I've been yelling to the hilt to get rid of that guy for years now, and I'm finally so happy that he's gone. But anyway, let's get into the chat before we bounce into our next segment where we go into each player on the team, and we'll talk about whether we think they're coming back or not. Please feel free to pose questions and comments in the chat. I'll make sure I go over them before the show ends. And I'd like to thank y'all for joining us. Please hit the like button as well and share the link with other Pelicans fans that you know as well to help the show out. So I appreciate y'all in advance for that. Unique View says that they need to look at a good winning college coach. Your thoughts on college coaches? That's not a bad idea as well, DC. Quite a few college coaches out there. Maybe Jay Wright. A lot of people have made mention of Wright from Villanova. Finally making a step to the NBA. You'll be able to coach a guy like Zion Williamson. That could be kind of a stickler. I doubt he'll leave, but you never know with some of these college coaches. He would be one of my favorite from Villanova, which is your perception. You could
also draft that little guy from what's that guy's name from Villanova? He could fall to us too. That small forward, a 3-and-D guy, kind of what we're looking for. They hire him as a coach. You got Zion there, Josh Hart already over there, and you got another Villanova prospect. That's interesting, man. It could be something that happens. I don't think it's a bad idea to get a fresh, innovative, new coach to bring something new to the league, and we got a very young team, so I'm not opposed to that. The college coach could work. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth. It would be interesting. The right coach would definitely fit here. I don't know. I just got, Kenny Atkinson, even though he has some years of experience, to me, he feels like a college coach nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? He got that college coach type vibe with him. But anyway, let's keep it moving. No, that's not a bad suggestion there. Thanks for that Unique View. Appreciate you on that. All right, let's keep it going. DC DJ, good to see you, DJ, in the chat as well. Axon, we taking calls. Not this show, DJ. We won't be weak. When a Duke guy on ESPN leaked news that they may trade Lonzo. So creating dissension in the Pelican ranks is pretty lousy, but that's been happening for some times. But we just have to ignore it and pick the right coach to kind of solidify the team. This was a disaster waiting to happen. I knew it because Gentry, he was just a half a coach. What's your thought process on what Unique View comments on?
I mean, she's right, but we can't act like we're the only team they do that to. They do that to everybody. Indiana team is getting traded. Victor Oladipo is on the trading block. If you look at any team, that's losing or having difficulties, they're going to tell you one of their players are on the trading block. I mean, that's just kind of how it is, So I'm kind of used to it at this point. It's like you really got to look at it and 1 + 1 = 2, then yeah, they might be right. But, a lot of it is just overreacting and they looking for reactions and something to talk about. So I don't really get caught up in too much of it.
Supreme Josh, what's up, Supreme Josh? How you doing, fam? He says, who should we draft? He likes Sadiq Bey. That's who you talking about from Villanova, Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, Sadiq Bey. I couldn't remember his name. That's correct. That's him, man. He's good, man.
He is good. They have some draft. A lot of mock drafts have him going inside the top 10. Right at 10, the one I'm looking at from CBS has him posted up to Phoenix. But man, you was talking about it. What could the Pelicans possibly make moves and select and like finding a small forward, a long one who can score and play defense off the bench would be an interesting thing. You made mention of Darius Miller. I kind of shot that down with a Gatling gun on there the other day to make sure you never bring that up. But Sadiq Bey is not a bad choice either, man. What you think about Cole Anthony? What's your thought process on him?
Oh man, I was talking about Cole Anthony. That would be definitely a huge spark plug off the bench, man. A backup plan for if Lonzo actually doesn't work out or we can't re-sign him. You already got a guy right there, and Nickeil Walker could continue to try to mold himself into the Drew Holiday replacement, because I don't think we're gonna sign Frank Jackson. I would like us to, but with Ladidi Lazova coming on, I don't see how that's gonna work. But Cole Anthony, man, a baller, bro. He reminds me of one of those New York cats, man. Crazy handles, Kyrie Irving-ish type game a little bit. Can make difficult shots. He had up and down over there in North Carolina, but I mean, he didn't really have no NBA caliber dudes on his team, in my opinion. I think made his life a little harder. But I think he would be an excellent addition to the Pelicans if we couldn't get a 3-and-D guy and we keep Darius Miller, who shot 38, 39% Big Q from 3. He played okay defense.
Yeah, he was okay. Darius Miller
off the bench.
He's a cheap option. So I mean,
all right, would he be better than Kendrick Williams off the bench? Come on, Big Q.
Well, as far as his 3-point shooting, yes, but as far as his defense, no. And I'll make a case for guys.
He's not the worst defender.
No, he's not. He's not. But I still like Kendrick Williams' defense and diving on the ground. And remember, Kendrick can hit the 3-pointer too when he's in rhythm to do it.
That's not true.
Yes, he can, because I watched him do it several times.
Show me the stats to back that up, Big Q.
I don't have to, man.
Hold up. Let me look it up, dude.
Your phone is not going to work. Your screen's probably cracked, so forget about it. All right, let's keep it. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving, family. Okay, we're going to look at the people under contract on the team. Number one, and don't talk about my dog Kendrick Williams, okay? Let me get you straight on that, all right, partner? You need to chill out with that.
I'm not talking about him as a person. Right, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He looks like a solid cat. I'm just saying he can't ball, bro. He could play deep, but anything on offense is over.
All right, DC.
We need to call a timeout right after the defensive possession, Big Q. That's all.
It's all good, my brother. I don't like to show you up on the show, bro, so I'm going to let you have that one, brother. All right, let's take a walk down the players under contract.
He shot 25% from 3, dog.
I think you're looking at the wrong stats, my friend. I think
his career stats are 30%. He did have his last year. He shot 33%. I give you kind of some credit for that.
Okay, his career numbers is what? 30%. 30 points. Actually, 30.4.
He could hit a couple of the ones in the corner, and that's
right.
it.
Well, I mean, that's fine though, because his bread and butter is on the defensive end. You throw him up against a guy like DeMar DeRozan or somebody like that. He's a guy that frustrates them and shuts them down. You don't really count on the scoring. You need a defensive stopper, DC. So
we got to have scoring around him in whatever rotation we put him in. And I will say, I don't think Alvin Gentry picked the best rotations to implement him.
There you go. Okay, let's move on to the under contract players on the team. Of course, we know several of really interesting options the Pelicans have is that the lineup is the average age for the Pelicans. His team is relatively young, DC. But you look at some of the players that's under contract.
I know that, but I remember we had a little tit for tat about that, bro. I kept telling you that.
They're relatively young. I mean, they're not grandpas, man. You're looking at what?
No, 26? You kept telling me there ain't no young team. There ain't no young team. They got veterans.
Young means young. This is a good mix of youth and experience. Okay, so you look at Drew Holiday and JJ Redick, and of course when Derek Favors was there. And then, you got Jaloka for us there. These are not grandpas, but they're good. A lot of guys here are in their primes and playing really well that can help guys like Zion Williamson and Ingram. And those guys are really young veterans as well. But you're looking at the first-round draft picks of Williamson and Jackson and the rest of these guys helped them transition well without all of the problems and errors that we experienced this year. So I guess it didn't work after all, thanks to Elvin Gentry. But if you look at some of these good people under contract, we're going to start with the guards: Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Lonzo Ball, we talked about him, Josh Hart, Drew Holiday, J.J. Redick, Nico Melli, Darius Miller, Zion Williamson, and Jackson Hayes are under contract. Free agents, both unrestricted, and I will signify which ones are which. Frank Jackson, Kendrick Williams, Brandon Ingram are all free agents, but they're restricted. Etwan Moore, Derrick Favors, and Jahlil Okafor are unrestricted. So you have three of three are restricted. So Frank is restricted, Kendrick is restricted, and Brandon Ingram is restricted. Etwan Moore, Derrick Favors, and Jahlil Okafor are all unrestricted free agents. And so that's those guys as well. And don't forget, the Pelicans also had a second round draft pick, number 35, which is Marcos Luzada Silva, Didi Silva, who is playing pretty well in overseas right now. So it could be a move where the Pelicans can ultimately next season call him here if they feel like he can contribute right away. But let's look at that, DC. Let's look at the free agents here, and we'll start with the restricted guys. Frank Jackson, Brandon Ingram. Of course, me and you are going to agree that Ingram comes back with a max contract. The Pelicans going to take care of him. But what about Jackson?
Right.
What about Jackson and Kendrick Williams? What are your thoughts on those guys?
I think it's over for Kendrick Williams.
You would say that.
Well, I mean, I know I just downed him talking about his shot, but I love his hustle. I do like him as a basketball player, and I think with a competent coach and a team that he can fit, and they need exactly what he provides, which any team can really use what he provides, but you got to have the right lineup for him. I don't think we have the spot because what the position that he's going to play, I think they're either going to draft somebody or you have Darius Miller coming back. You seem to think they're going to cut Darius Miller. If they do cut Darius Miller, then that opens the door for Kendrick Williams. If we keep Darius Miller, then I don't see Kendrick Williams on this team, bro. Like, Frank Jackson is a similar situation. Etwan Moore is out of here. But if Didi Lazova comes over and they don't give him another developmental year overseas, then I don't see us keeping Frank Jackson. I think we're going to get away from this guard-heavy roster that we have and kind of go to a more traditional, balanced roster like you should, because we need some big men. So Thornwell is out of here. I see Frank Jackson out of here, Kendrick Williams possibly, and Etwan Moore. Everybody else, I think, stays.
Okay, and we talk. Let's look at the unrestricted guys. I think you covered that. The Jahlil Okafors and the Derrick Favors, or we mentioned them. Talk about.
Well, we got Derrick Favors bird rights, though, right?
Yeah, I think you do have his bird right. So, what do you think we do with that? Do we trade him, or what do you think happened in that arena?
Based on a conversation we had earlier.
Well, he wants to stay. So I mean, wants to stay. That's what he said after the season was over with. He was quoted as saying that he likes the Pelicans organization and he wants to remain here. But a lot of them do say that. But what does it look like? Hopefully, it doesn't look like another $16 million contract. DC, what you think?
I think they got to. The market's gonna command about that much. I don't think he takes a pay cut. I mean, what players go in free agency and take a pay cut? You don't think another team would pay? Yeah, you don't think another team would pay Derrick Favors $17, $18 million when they gave it to a guy like
could possibly, but you got to also look at
Bismack Biyombo.
Well, that was
Bismack Biyombo. How much money you got? You know what I'm saying? So
like $17 million or something like that for him.
Right. Derrick Favors is definitely better than him. So, we was looking at centers, man. We was talking about it. I only shot at somebody. Hassan Whiteside. Do you really want Hassan Whiteside?
Drummond. I'm just naming the guys up there.
Andre Drummond is that's a curious situation, but these are guys who like real post heavy, and you got Zion. What, Zion gonna start shooting threes magically next year?
No,
and hanging out on the perimeter?
No, I think most people will agree that you need somebody in the paint that's focused on defending the paint. that can run the floor,
True.
shot block, and clean up, and somebody you have to run plays for, somebody that get their production like Bam Adebayo gets his production from glass.
They got to
work.
at least have a shot on the elbow, man. And that's one thing I can say about Derrick Favors.
I don't know where you're gonna find him at that.
He will knock down that 16-foot little spot shot. I mean, but all of these guys we got out there don't do that. They really probably want a big that can spread the floor, but that's just not available in free agency unless you're going to draft one. We got to keep waiting on the development of Jackson Hayes, and the thing that makes the most sense is to give Derrick Favors a 1 or 2 year deal, bring him back while Hayes develops.
And that's really the answer. A lot of people say, well, we need a goon down there, and the reality is
we do.
We got to remember this though. The Pelicans used 3 first-round draft picks last year. They selected Zion Williamson with the pick. The next guy was Jackson Hayes, who was number 10, if I'm correct. So he was a top 10 pick or a top 11 pick, somewhere along in there. But that's your center of the future. And we looked this up. Me and DC was talking about it, and he's 6'11", but he's 220 pounds. He's way too light.
Oh,
so
man.
Jackson Hayes has to get in the gym, and
I can hit that on the bench ball, Big Q.
I know, bro. He has to be able to get in shape. He has to put some weight on, maybe another 25 pounds, and really get muscular to be able to deal with what's going on with the season. Because him in his current state right here, this high school version of himself right here, this college version of himself, this is not going to work. They just push him. Vujacev was just bullying him all around with Orlando. I was watching him. I mean,
Vujacev, my brother. That's what you talking about?
Vujacev.
Yeah.
I said Vujacev.
You say Vujacev. I was just trying to make sure it wasn't another player I ain't never heard about.
Well, he's the same guy. You know who it is. The guy that was abusing him in the paint. You know who it is. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. He has to put on another 25 pounds.
Big Q.
Well, I mean, he needs to get a little heavier there. And that's the guy we're looking for, a defensive stopper right there. He has to develop. He has to get better. And see, that's a part of that new coaching staff thing that's coming in, because pretty much the Pelicans are currently constructed. They have everybody in place. All of the administrators, the VP of basketball operations, the general manager, the assistant GM, everybody's in place except for the coach. And that's something I think where he'll come in and he'll make light of it, and he'll be able to, with his philosophy, able to get everybody in shape. But Frank Jackson needs to gain more weight, and Zion Williamson needs to lose weight. So whatever Zion loses, 20-something odd pounds, give it to Jackson Hayes. They need to swap weight, like you said earlier.
He need to go ahead and catch all of it. All I think he needs to do, Zion need to hang around him for a week, and he need to hang around Zion for a week. Whatever Zion was doing, you do. And Zion, whatever he was doing, you do.
Zion eating cheeseburgers and everything. Come on.
Problem solved.
Eating cheeseburgers and fries. They've doctoring
cheeseburgers
photos.
And fries. That boy from South Carolina, man. He out there eating barbecue, ribs, and all type of stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I'm working out, Coach. I'm working out.
Man, they ain't bothering themselves with no cheeseburgers, man. He eating good down there. Them people cooking for him.
Oh, man.
Talking about a cheeseburger.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, man. I mean, we're going to see what it looks like coming up, but we went through that.
Zion thought he was eating healthy because he was eating cooked food, Big Q.
I'm eating cooked food. I stopped the fast food. I ain't going to McDonald's. I thought it would work. Well, Zion, you lost 5 pounds. I feel great. That's what I'm talking. But man,
that's messed up, big brother.
Nah, I'm just saying, man. I'm talking to a man that liked to eat himself, man. I know what he was talking about.
Hey, but you can't fault him, man. He's been doing that.
Right, I can't fault him, man,
because
it's been working for him. That's what I'm saying. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with it. Some good eating. You're working out and doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Then they got some people out there that eat watermelon for dinner. You know what I'm saying? I would totally not. Absolutely horrible.
Man, they eat watermelon for dinner.
I don't know.
Like that.
I don't know who eats watermelon
if Zion
for dinner.
Ate watermelon for dinner, I think he'll lose some weight, Big Q.
Well,
you might want to stop talking down on that.
Nah, he'll lose that. He'll lose weight. He'll definitely lose weight in his mind with it. So, I mean, it's just what it is, man. But anyway, let's keep it moving here, DC. I think
the injuries is what caught up to him, bro. He had that time off and he was sitting still, bro. He ain't never got that weight down from that.
Despite the fact he had several months of inactivity, he still couldn't. And what about the hawkish figure
I mean,
that
if you still eat, you're still eating what you ate, and you're not doing the activities you used to do while you're hurt. So you put all that weight on.
How could he possibly be
the
hurt?
Zion in
in bubble
college
tape.
and the Zion we see now is a different guy, man.
Zion was wrapped in bubble wrap. He could not get hurt. So cut it out.
No. I'm talking about when he was hurt, like his the whole time with his knee, man. When he hurt himself in preseason.
Yeah, I know, DC. I was messing with
and
you.
then he was hurt before that. Oh, you.
But this is the thing.
I'm over my head on that one.
Well, this is the thing, man. You know, we noticed, you know, when coming back into the season, man, we hopefully they have an extended period of time for him to get totally healthy. And coming into next year, this man should not be under any restriction at all. If he is, something wrong. Because, you know, come on,
right.
Man, come on. But anyway, let's go over the draft. We're going to touch upon it, and, of course, we're going to come back in a later date. We're going to do an entire draft show. We go over the draft and talk about the things and the free agencies as free agents that we think will actually help out the team as we go free agent to free agent. But looking at some of these draft players, a lot of people was talking about the fact that the Pelicans would trade Lonzo to get his brother. I said, that's crazy. That's amazing.
That would be messed up, man.
But what are you out of some of these guys you like? I mean, there is guys like James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards, who a lot of consensus believe that the guy out of Georgia, Anthony Edwards, would be the first overall pick by the Golden State Warriors. Yeah. And then there are rumors that the Warriors have their first round draft pick. Well, I mean, right, Minnesota has the first pick, but the Golden State Warriors have put their pick, the second pick, up for trade for whoever is interested in obtaining it. So if Minnesota makes the pick for LaMelo Ball, which they're thinking about pairing LaMelo and D'Angelo together, how about that?
I don't think that's a good idea, honestly.
Well, that's what a lot of people have likened that combination of the two big guards. And then if Golden State looks for Wiseman or either the guy out of Georgia, but they did put their pick up for trade. Should it be a scenario where the Pelicans move up to get that pick so they can take Wiseman? Would that be a wise move? You see what I did there?
I think it's something that can definitely work. But if you get Wiseman, I mean, what are you really going to do with Jackson Hayes at this point? Like, are you going to develop two centers at one time? Like, I don't know.
Wiseman's 7'1", 240.
Yeah. I mean, you probably could plug and play him.
He averaged 240. DC averaged almost 20 points and 11 rebounds a game last year for Memphis.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the ability to spread the floor. So
no, he don't.
I'm just a little curious to see how does that work with Zion, because the whole thing is this gonna be the centerpiece. Or you could say Brandon Ingram, which I think his game. A lot of people work with his game, but how does that work with Zion? And I don't know, man. I'm not saying it can't.
It depends.
I'm not saying it can't.
It's tough to answer that question because it depends on which coach you bring in here. Because you might be thinking about that spread situation like you seen what Gentry attempted to do, and you thinking that might be a better utilization of Zion's talents. But you need a defensive presence down there, and I'm not saying Jackson Hayes isn't it. Of course, we kind of spitballing things right here with the Pelicans picking at 13. Of course, they come up with the lottery draft. Truth be told, the only way they can get up into the top 5 echelon of some of these really elite, talented college players like Ball and Wiseman and Anthony Edwards is that they would have to make a trade to get up there. And then other guys that ultimately a lot of people feel that will fall to the Pelicans at 13 is guys like, Saddiq Bey. A lot of people think Saddiq Bey out of Villanova, he goes in the top 10. I mean, some look at him as the top, one of the top small forward or three guard, whatever you want to phrase it, prospects. And other people that might fall to the Pelicans and several other mock drafts have Precious Achiuwa from Memphis. He's a 6'9", 230 guy. If you're looking for guards, Aaron Naismith is another interesting option. Devin Vassell from Florida State. He's another dude. It's a lot of options if you're the Pelicans. Isaiah Stewart. I seen a mock draft have Isaiah Stewart, who's 6'9", 250 center from Washington. A lot of interesting players that you could throw around. Patrick Williams is another one from Florida State as well. So it's several other interesting options that the Pelicans can go in with that 13th selection. So it'll be interesting. What are your thoughts on that, man?
It's a lot of interesting options. I think I think Anthony Edwards goes first though. That makes more sense in Minnesota than LaMelo Ball to me. And I think where
Edwards would
LaMelo
be perfect
goes
in Memphis. You're absolutely right. He would pair
right.
really well with D'Angelo up there.
Yeah, Minnesota. I mean, I say Memphis too. Man, Minnesota. But LaMelo Ball, man, I think he has the ability to be able to shape this draft and get somebody good fall to us. Because let's say the Golden State Warriors don't trade their pick, right? Or nobody bites, and they pass on LaMelo and get a guy like Wiseman, like you were talking, or Obi Toppin, or Nika Agwan.
I like Obi Toppin. I just don't think he'll be there.
Yeah, but I mean, he's power forward, so you got to think about what we already got. You really want to draft a power forward if we could get him?
Yeah, but his
with
game,
Zion already.
Yeah, but his game is I'm gonna leave that for another episode and break it down. But we got the music coming up here, so we're gonna get ready to end the show right here. I'm sorry to cut you off, DC. The music cut you.
Ain't no problem, bro. We're gonna do our draft show.
That's right. And I'd like to thank everybody joining us here on the Pelican Post Game Report. Thank you guys for joining us. Please hit the like button. Please feel free to share as well. And subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Share the show links with other Pelican fans and bring them over as we talk 100% real deal Pelican talk, man. We in the building. So I'd like to thank you guys. Y'all be safe out there. From me and DC, appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. Peace.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
The Kleins family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Kleins friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Kleins thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, nuts, and confections, a selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence and the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section. Boom.